So for this part of the assignment, we're going to create multiple pivot tables for one set of, we're going to drive multiple pivot tables from one set of slicers. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to create your first pivot table, which I've already done. And then the next step you're going to want to do is copy this pivot table. The reason you want to do that is because it will, it says it's called a pivot cache with the first pivot table. I mean, like they're connected. I don't exactly know what that. I don't know how to explain that, what that means. But it makes it so where they have the same cache, or I don't even know how to say that. Anyway, so select your pivot table, all of it, go to copy, and then click some other blank area on your Excel sheet and press paste. And I'm going to separate or expand these a little bit so that it's not so pushed together. Okay. Now that you have the two pivot tables, you can change this one to have maybe, I don't know, some sort of different information. We'll do average, so we'll keep the same, we'll keep it the customers. That's what this is supposed to be called. For the first pivot table, we'll have customers and the sum of revenue for each customer. And then for this one, we'll have customers and the average revenue received from each customer. Okay. From there, you're going to want to insert a slicer. So click on your first pivot table and go to Insert Slicer. And then you can choose the different slicers that you want to show, just like before, same as before. I actually found an easier way to do this, or not necessarily an easier, I like it better. It's, if you didn't think of this, to do this ahead of time, I'll show you what I mean here in a minute, of how I did it. We'll change colors real quick just so you'll see the difference. Okay. And then once you've done that, once you've changed your colors and done all that, these slicers are only driving this first pivot table. So to be able to drive the second pivot table as well, what you're going to want to go to is Report Connections. Click on your slicer, click on your slicer, go to Report Connections, and then choose the other pivot table that you want to use. So we want our second pivot table. Press OK. Now you're controlling not only the first pivot table, but the second one as well. And then you want to do this for each slicer. So click on your slicer. Let me exit out of that. Click on your slicer, go to Report Connections, and choose which pivot tables you want to drive. And the same for the last one. So now you can operate both of these pivot tables with these slicers. But the way I did it, I'll go back to my other one. The way I did it, I already had all this together, and what I did, I was just messing around and kind of found this. But I already had all this stuff, and I copied this one and went to a new one and just pressed paste, and it already, if I click on my slicer and I go to Report Connections, it's already operating both of those pivot tables. I thought that was just like an easier way of doing it, or not necessarily an easier way, but I just already had the stuff done. But I think that's it for this assignment. Once again, you can change the information right here and change it to what you want to call it. And so instead of sums, we want to do average. So yeah, I just like that way a little bit better. That's it.